released in 1991. We get Mush. Is it how you say Mush or Mush?
Either way, potato,
We
potato.
get Mush Mush from Leatherface. It's
Mm.
their third album. Uh, I actually have a very old copy of this on CD from Roughneck. This is pretty cool. I don't have a lot of stuff like this, but I bought a collection of stuff from my buddy Kevin. And this Leatherface CD is a really, really old Roughneck edition. And then you were telling me that that other one that I had was a first edition as well, from a smaller imprint. I just think that kind of stuff is really cool. Okay, here's the thing. I've been a fan of Leatherface for like 20 something years, right? That doesn't mean I'm a super fan. For the most part, I listened to Cherry Knoll and Horsebox, and that was about it. But I love those albums. Like I love Horsebox, dude. I think I have like 2 copies of that on CD and one on LP. I love that
Mm.
album. I had never heard this album. And people are gonna trip out, right? Like it is what it is, dude. I never had a copy. I never saw a copy around. It was never available. I didn't know it existed
Yeah.
until you told me, basically, right?
Mhm.
I didn't want to be the guy that was like, oh, and I fucking, oh, it's so good. Like I just wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to do that, right?
Okay.
But man, I gotta cradle those balls and I gotta stroke that shaft, my friend.
That's good. Yeah.
This album is great, man. This is a fucking good record. I have some stuff to say about this album.
Yeah.
Um, first off, yeah, I like Motorhead too. It's good to know, fellas. Good to know. This album had so much Motorhead in it that I was like, man, does he have one of them things on his face now? Like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why does it sound like Motorhead? The whole record. Are they big fans of Motorhead?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah,
That's rad.
yeah.
Dude, I'm not even talking shit, bro. I was absolutely shocked at how much I was like, oh, this song sounds like Motorhead. And then like 2 songs later, oh, this song sounds like, oh, I said that already. Shit, okay. Like it kept going and going. This is your favorite album by Leatherface, correct?
This is my favorite album. This is one of my favorite albums of all time by any band.
So, okay. This album is really, really, really good. Is How Lonely, is that the first song?
The first song on, I should
Yeah,
know this
no,
by
it's
heart, man. Leatherface, MUSH. First songs. I
no, I
Want the
want the
Moon.
moon. Yeah, I want the moon. Okay, so that song is really fast. This album starts off and it's really fast. Can I read off some of my notes real quick and then I want to hear your response to it?
Yeah, yeah. Go.
Okay.
What you got?
So the album starts off quick. The pacing and the what's it called? Not rhythm, but the what's the word for the how like
Tempo. The tempo.
thank you. The tempo of the album starts off like just blistering fast. And then it actually gets even faster. How Lonely, I think, is even a little bit faster than the first song. I put on here that it's beautifully dirty. There are vocal melodies and guitar leads all packed nicely into this wonderful song about being alone when maybe you don't want to be. Um, I don't want to be the one to say it. I love the vocal rhythm in the first part of the song. There's
I love
amazing
that song.
oh, dude, it's so good, man. Amazing lyrics in the oh, here we go. I said we're gonna talk about another word that was used, and the use of the word plethora. Dude, I can't say that word, man, because it's
Plethora.
a word I love because I can't say it. But the line a hymn and a rhyme, plethora of ashtray abuse is so incredibly relatable and cinematic. And then I put, man, this band is quickly climbing the ranks of a top bands list for me. Uh, Pandora's Box was just kind of like it was like it's a good song because this whole album is pretty great, but it was just okay, whatever. Not Superstitious is a standout track. The vocal yells and the guitar playing. I'm really starting to like the mix and style of burying the vocals on these records. It's becoming kind of normal to me. It's easier to enjoy and understand what he's saying at this point. When I first started listening to Leatherface, this is why I'm a late bloomer because I couldn't get into the like buried vocal style that he does.
Yeah.
As I get older and listen to it more and more and more, it's starting to become a little bit more normal to me, so I like it more. When I first heard Leatherface, I liked them a lot, and then for like a good 10 years, I just couldn't listen to it. I don't know why. I think I just didn't like the mix or something. But with this album, it's really doesn't even matter to be honestly.
Mhm.
Springtime, musically is so many things that I love wrapped up into one song. The lyrics are about memories of good times, youthful adventures, and happiness. Uh, I just put Frankie Stubbs as a poet. Um,
Yeah.
Winning, the start of side B, I think. It starts off blistering fast. Incredible guitar. It's double bass. It's an incredible song.
Yeah. It's a good one.
In the Real World has some fantastic lyrics. This album is absolutely ridiculous. Another sweet guitar lead and solo, double bass in this song. But what the heck's going on with this album? Baked potato. Everyone knows how to cook baked potatoes, but they still tell you. That makes so much sense to me, dude. I feel like, is it a song about being like self-absorbed and like know-it-all and like pretentious?
It's got so many different meanings.
That's what it felt like. It felt like to me like it was talking about like, yeah, we get it. You know how to make a potato. Like stop. Like it felt like a song basically being like, what the fuck with all these pretentious people. But I'm almost done here. Dead Industrial Atmosphere is an awesome song as well. Incredible music. The guitar is very early 2000s emo and metalcore. This being from 1991, it was way ahead of its time in my opinion. Trenchfoot has incredible guitar work. Scheme of Things as well. The melody and the riff on that one are really, really good. Side B is absolutely amazing. I think I prefer it over side A. That's basically what I wrote. I listened to this album like 3 times. I love it. I don't know that I like it more than Horsebox because I think that's just the one that I came in on.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably a better album though. Like whether I like it more or not, kind of irrelevant. I think it's the better album. And with time, it'll probably eclipse my feelings of Horsebox. But talk to me about this record for a minute, man. What you love this album, so tell me why.
I can't say enough about this band.
Dude, you love this band.
Yeah, I mean they're my favorite band. I mean, other than like Husker Du, I think they rank extremely high on my list of favorite. They're just, I don't know. Everything about this record it's perfect. You know, I feel like it's such an important record to me, and I love every song on the album. You know, it couldn't be. I think the way that it was recorded at the time, even the guy from Roughneck Records, I was reading an interview with them, Lawrence Bell. He said he signed Leatherface after he heard Cherry Knoll because he was managing a band called Snuff, who you're familiar with.
Yeah, I know Snuff. Right?
So Snuff played with Leatherface in the late 80s.
Okay.
And they had a tape of Leatherface. They're like, you check this band out, you know, like they're fucking incredible. And I think he listened to Cherry Knoll and he kind of fell in love with the band and then signed them for 3 records. Mush, Minx, and the Last, which was Leatherface's last record before they broke up in like 94, 93. And Lawrence Bell of Roughneck was like, Leatherface, I gave him a budget to go to London to go record at a studio owned by the guy from the Vibrators.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that little tidbit.
Right. So they recorded at this guy who was in the Vibrators studio in London with their house engineer who just captured them perfectly at that time. And the product that came out of those sessions was Mush. And it was the perfect fucking punk record. Like it just like sonically, like the stars aligned, everything fell into place, and that's what happened. You know, it's not like they had a ton of money. They're just a little band from the UK. And I think when that record came out in 91, this predated Nirvana and like The Offspring and Green Day and the whole punk explosion in the United States, right? So they had high hopes for Leatherface. You know, Leatherface was supposed to blow up.
Really?
But, I mean, I think
I can't imagine this band blowing up. They don't have that sound. They're not polished enough. Dude, hey, I don't know. Is something hitting your microphone or something? I'm hearing like this weird noise. It sounds like it's like
it might be because it's is that better?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool.
It wasn't happening earlier and it started happening. And I was like, what is that? Yeah, I don't think that they have the sound that's gonna do like even like a portion of Nirvana numbers, but I don't think they should. I don't think they were meant to be. I don't think that Frankie Stubbs wouldn't want it. I don't think
that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like I digress. I don't think that blow up is the word I meant to use. I think that what do you do with that record, right? Like right. What do you do with this band? Like this band kind of came out of nowhere. They're from like this industrial town in like way north of England.
You can tell by their sound that they're from like a town like that. It's
You know,
I feel
some
like it's
like post World War II kind of just like industrial grit, like shipyard town, right? In
well,
UK. Um, and anyway, so it's like, but and this powerhouse of a band, arguably like one of the best punk bands to come out of the United Kingdom, um, you know, puts out this record, and you're like, holy fuck, like I'm responsible for like you know getting this band out. And they did a bunch of tours and stuff. I think the biggest show they played was in London for like 700 people
that's
before they
crazy.
broke up, and that's not that many people.
No, it's not.
So their following was a very cult kind of following, and you know if you knew them. They were obviously bigger in Europe than they were in the States, and until Hot Water Music brought them over here, they were highly unrecognized in this country.
Right. I like when bands will do that when they have a band that they admire a lot, and then they go, "Hey, look, we're going to get kind of big, so we're going to help you." And I like when bands are okay to
Yeah,
accept that because it's got to be a thing where you're like, maybe your pride gets in the way of that a little bit. I
yeah,
like that pairing though because that split record they did was fantastic.
yeah,
So I lied. I had Cherry Knoll, I had Horsebox, and I had that split. That's
yeah.
why I didn't really think about. I didn't know they had other records because I just didn't know.
Mhm.
It's funny you mentioned what do you do with this band because you got this great record. That's how I feel with Bullshit Detector. I really
Yeah,
appreciate that they work with me because I think that they're a genuinely great band, and I do everything I can possibly do for those guys because I think that I have a similar feeling that you do about this and that guy probably had about this. I
totally.
listen to them and
Yeah,
I go, holy shit, these guys are so good. Like I want
yeah,
people to hear this, but they also have like a kind of an unpolished sound,
right.
you know. And I talked to Richard about this record and doing a Leatherface video, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Frankie Stubbs is my favorite musician of all time."
Right.
And I was like, "I need him out of here."
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Crazy kid.
Sorry about that, man.
No, it's all right. Parker came in here at the same time.
That's
It was
a
like
fucking
it was just
dog
like
and-
chaos.
Right, right.
But
Well, he said that about Frankie Stubbs, huh?
yeah, man.
Richard.
So I thought that was really cool. But like I can hear after he said that, I can hear
Yeah, I can hear that.
that because he covers like Richard will cover bands. Like he'll cover something like Bob Seger. Like you wouldn't think he would even know that stuff. But it's like, yeah, he does. He likes this. Not that I'm
Yeah.
equating those just to the same thing, but like they come from the same, like they're of the same ilk. Bob Seger writes about working
Right.
hard and punching the clock, like quite literally, right?
Bullshit Detective is a great band, and they're unique, and I think they're inspired, and I think that the opportunities they're getting right now are gonna, you know, I think I'm whatever to just my like philosophy on things is kind of like life kind of does you know you're just on the you're
Yes.
you're like on the wave, you're writing this shit, right?
I'm
You
very
make
well aware.
you make choices and decisions as you go along, but who the fuck knows where you're going to be tomorrow, next week, in a month, in a year, you know? And I think that what you do, you know, in a lot of ways is just kind of what you do, and you do it because you love to. And bands like Leatherface and them, you know, are indicative of that. They're not doing this music for any other reason than that this is what they know. This is how they exist.
So
In
I'm
this
going to
world.
tell you, I'm going to tell you a little quick story about Richard, and I'm going to tell you this story because I think that the like essence of Frankie Stubbs was in the air when this happened, right?
Yeah.
So I'm talking to him, and I feel like they probably get offers from other labels that can eclipse what I can do for them, right?
Right.
Yet he sticks with me at least for the time being because we're friends, and because when he needed something for his band, I didn't even question it. I didn't even have to hear it. I just said yes, and I did something for them. I knew that it was going to be good because I knew what he's all about. I've known him for a long time, but so we're a good pair, right? So one night we're talking, and I don't remember what the situation was. They were offered something. Some people were trying to get him to do guest vocals on a song, and he's like, "Yeah, send me the track. I'll lay down the vocals. If you want me to do double, I'll do double, but it won't take me very long. This is all I ever really do." And so he gets sent this song. I don't know if I'm getting the details mixed up, so I'm trying to be a little bit vague. But they send him the song. He does the stuff. They send it back. They want to do all kinds of stuff with it. They want to do these melodies and this stuff. And he's like, yo, I play punk rock. I don't play anything else. I like punk rock. I want to be on a small label. I want to make punk rock records. And today, when I was doing like a layout for their new, or not new, but their collection of songs we're working on for the CD, he literally goes, I was like, hey man, you know, I'm gonna knock this out. What do you want it to look like? And he goes, dark. One word, dark. And I was like, okay, yeah, I believe you. And so I send him a couple things, and then he goes, cool, I like it. And I was like, all right. And then he goes, plain. And I was like, heard. This dude sent me 2 words to tell me what he wanted his layout to look like. Dark, plain. I love that about him because I understand that, because I also like dark and plain. So that it helps that because like even with my t-shirts, if you ever noticed, I always wear like one color shirts. Like I don't like even this is like a lot. Like I'll take just the logo. I'm good with that. But yeah, man, I feel like those kind of people, Frankie Stubbs is one of those kind of people. And you could tell within his music that he writes songs that are kind of stripped down, even though they're fantastic. I think they're more intricate than I've given them credit for, but they're kind of, but at the base of them, they're just a stripped down punk rock song. That dude wants to play punk rock songs. He wants to be in a punk rock band. He's not concerned about like being famous. He's not concerned about like just, you know, he's not a fucking Instagram girl. He's not a fucking TikTok star. Like he didn't care about that shit.
Not at all. You know, I would equate him. This might be arguable, and you might not agree with him, but he's more like a folk. He's more like a folk. He's more like a folk singer.
Oh, I actually agree with that a lot. I think he's got a lot in common with Bob Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, he's more in that vein. It's like a gruff. When you hear Frankie Stuff's acoustic stuff, because he has a bunch of acoustic shit.
Yeah, I've heard a little.
He's like a gravelly vocal, like, you know, he just sounds like this crusty old guy with an acoustic guitar.
Well, I have at my shop, I get
no diss to Frankie.
No, dude, I think that was a compliment.
Yeah,
I have the luxury of being able to talk to people about music all day on the weekends for my job.
Yeah,
and I sell a lot of 31 record stuff, and it's because I'm good at selling stuff to people. So I constantly introduce people to new artists that they've never heard. And the last couple of weeks, I've let a lot of people hear Leatherface. And then some of the people that have bought some of this stuff would surprise you. I'm talking like, dude, 50-year-old, fairly well-off white guys with, you know, $250 loafers on. And I'm like, they're like, hey, what are you listening to right now? What is this? I kind of like it. And I'm like, oh, it's a band called Leatherface. And they're like, oh, you know, what's their story? And I'm like, you know, and this may be, and again, people might argue with this as well. I said, you know, if Bruce Springsteen had like smoked 2 packs a day and started a punk band, it would sound like Leatherface. And I was like, but they're from the UK. And I was like, they have this like kind of weird muddy sound. But once you get past that and you get below the surface, you're going to really, it opens you up to a lot of musical beauty that you won't think you're getting. On the surface, it's very, you know, gruff and tough. But below the surface, man, it's pretty. And a lot of people are receptive to it. And so the guy that I'm talking about, I asked him because he was with his wife. She had some kind of bag on her arm that looked like it was expensive. I don't know. Could have been a knockoff. I don't know. But they looked like they had some money, right? And I just kind of said, you know, I told him, judging a book by its cover here, man, you don't look like the kind of guy that would be into this. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he kind of stood there for a second and he was like, you know, I started working for myself when I was like 20 years old. And I was like, okay. And I was kind of just waiting. And he just kind of stood there and you could just see him like reliving like hardships. It was cool, man. Like he was like, yeah, man, I just started a company. I can't remember what it was. It was some, I don't know.
That is really cool.
But he's like, yeah, man. He's like, you'd never know it, but like, I come from nothing. He's like, that's why I'm in here, man. This music. He's like, I relate to it more than you'd think. And I was like, dude, that's rad, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so cool to see a guy who so looked like he probably listened to the radio. You know, no diss to him, whatever, bro. Listen what you want, but like, he loved it, man. It was cool. I think he bought a CD. I think he bought Sherry Knoll, actually.
Wow. Okay, what an album. These guys are like the cream of the crop fucking songwriters and musicians. I don't think it gets much better than this band, in my opinion. I
mean,
of course, there's a lot of great bands out there. I'm not saying that, but like, this is like the gold standard for me, you know.
Well,
So.
I'll tell you this. I listened to this record. I've been planning on this being the one that we talked about for probably like a month now.
Yeah.
So I've listened to Leatherface a lot, not just this album, but
Mhm.
Leatherface.
Yeah.
Actually, specifically those 3 albums, the split in this. So, or I guess the 3 albums and the split.
Yeah.
And I got a couple others I'm going to start listening to now that this has been done. But I think that they're gonna like creep into my top 10.
It's good.
I don't know that they can get to the top 5 because my top
Really?
5, I don't know, man. Rancid, they're not better than Rancid to me. One Man Army, nope. Born to Lose, nope. But now we're talking 4 and 5, which is like Bouncing Souls and Cockspar. I just don't know that I could go, yeah, I like them better than either of those bands. Bouncing Souls, there's no fucking chance, dude. Cockspar, I just don't know. But I can say that 6, pretty attractive spot for this. That's a pretty good spot for this band, bro.
You know, I'll take it for a band that you didn't really know much about or listen to much, that you just recently dove into. Getting the number 6 spot in your top bands of all time. Hey man, to
Dude,
me that's more of an honor than anything else, right?
well, like I said, man, like 20 years ago, I had Cherry Knoll and Horsebox. That's all I knew of them. And then I got the Hot Water split because
Yeah.
I like Hot Water. Because Hot Water music, normally, like, or not normally, but like 2 years ago, Hot Water music would have been the band. I'd have been like, no, I like Hot Water, but I like Leatherface too. But I like Hot Water's my shit. And I still love Hot Water music. I still want to get a Hot Water music tattoo. But Leatherface has eclipsed Hot Water for me. I think that they have
Leatherface's songs are way better than Hot Water songs on that split, in my opinion.
I haven't listened to that in a long time, so I'm not going to comment on that.
I mean,
I'm going to say
no diss to Hot Water, man. I mean, you know, big fan, especially of their earlier stuff. But Leatherface is just too powerful of a band, you know.
I
It's
like
yeah,
I like his vocals a fair bit better than Frankie Stubbs.
Frankie's vocals are hard to.
No. I
Yeah.
love Frankie's vocals. Let me be very, very clear. I just really like God dang, I'm lost his name.
Chuck Reagan.
Chuck
Or
Reagan.
Chris
No, Chuck
Walden?
Reagan. Chuck Reagan specifically. Sorry,
Okay.
Chuck Reagan. They have 2 or 3 guys that sing for them. But Chuck Reagan's vocals, he's just got this powerful, like booming voice that I have loved since the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
I guess I don't like them quite a bit more than Frankie's, but I think they edge it out. But I don't think their songs, I don't think like per album that they've got as many quality songs. Like if you just went, all right, album versus album, I think Leatherface wins that most of the time.
Yeah.
Like maybe Caution might eke out a win or something, but like other than that, I don't think it's better than Mush. I don't think it's better than Horsebox.
Yeah.
Might be better than Cherry Knoll, but like, I mean, that's like their best album, and it's not Leatherface's best album isn't Cherry
Right.
Knoll. So like, I don't know.
The thing with Mush, I'll say, and this is, you know, we can kind of wrap this up. Mush is one of those records you can just play for anybody anywhere, and they'll be like, "Damn, this is
So
crazy."
I was actually thinking about that literal statement earlier today. I don't know that I agree with that, but I don't know that it's that far off from the truth. I think that, but oh no, I want to talk about this for a second. In like reference to this record, I heard a lot of stuff that was popular within like metalcore and emo. I'm not saying that to be silly, like,
I know it's just funny.
but like the guitar work, like these guys were playing stuff that was going to get popular 10, 12 years later. And like, I never hear anybody cite them as a inspiration at all. I don't know. I heard a lot of stuff. If we went through the album together, I could point out things and go, this sounds like this to me. And you would go, oh shit, you're right. I know you would, because I know you have heard this stuff. But I thought it was interesting that I heard a lot of like 2000s, mid 2000s,
You know what it is?
metalcore and emo, like screamo stuff within their guitar specifically.
You know what it is? I think it's kind of like what we were talking about the other day. It's like when you trace things back far enough, there's a line of influence, right?
Right.
So a lot of the bands that you're talking about, these metalcore and emo bands that came out in the early 2000s, they might not necessarily be able to trace their influences back to Leatherface, but they can trace it back to a band that was influenced by Leatherface.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
What kind of bands fall in that category, do you think?
it's hard to tell. I know that Leatherface really. I can tell you that they were influenced a lot by like Husker Du and Motorhead.
Well,
Those
they
groups
are,
of
but like,
people,
what bands are influenced by Leatherface?
Jack Nasty, for instance, like the guitar player just played a lot of the American style hardcore stuff, But the bands that were influenced by Leatherface, I just probably a lot of like American. I hate the term orgcore, but that's what
I
those are
the
the
term
bands that
drives me nuts, but I have to say it does
I don't even
categorize
know what it
things
means. Like,
nicely.
why is it org? But whatever. It's like these
Because
like
from some punkwhatever.org. It's from that
punk
website because that
punk
website
news
covers punknews.org.
punknews.org. Really?
Yeah, because that website that's the website that like covers all these kind of bands.
That's
That
the reason? That's
this
fucking
particular,
ridiculous.
as far as I understand it, that's what it is. That website got was interested in a lot of those bands that sounded like that, and they
Yeah.
became orgcore. At least as far as I understand it, anyways. I
I
guess
just
I
I
could.
just if I'm being honest though, I feel like a lot of the bands that were influenced by Leatherface just fall so short most of the time. And they're just like
Oh
pale in
yeah,
comparison.
look, I can see there's probably a lot of bands that are influenced by them, but none of them are going to come close to the sound. The only one that I would say comes even close would be Hot Water, and
Yeah.
their later material sounds nothing like Leatherface. Their early stuff kind of
No.
does.
Yeah,
Their
no,
early
they're
stuff kind
later.
of does, but their later material is way different. But I love Hot Water. I mean, Chuck Reagan went on to do like a really great solo career, and like
Yeah.
but you can hear Leatherface within a lot of different bands. I think. I wonder if Against Me was fans of Leatherface because I
Oh,
feel like I can hear.
for sure.
I like. I think Murder City Devils, American Steel. Those bands probably like
Yeah,
Leatherface.
for sure. For sure. I think they're a band that has a lot of reach in a very in like unspoken kind of ways. It's like it's a band that not everyone talks about, but if you know, kind of thing,
Right,
which
right.
is really interesting to me. That's these bands that have such like a mystique surrounding them are the ones that are the most compelling in a lot of ways because
I agree with that.
they're not talked about, they're not cited as influences, they're not in your face like
It's weird, isn't it?
a lot of bands like look at Rancid. I love Rancid, of course, but they're just they're everywhere. They're in your face. They're on albums. They're on TV. Or at one point they were on TV, but these types of bands that you just don't really see much of them. You've never heard much of them, and they were kind of like a flash in the pan, and they had their little corner of the world that they existed in, and that they made music in, and the people they made it for, and that was it. That's it. It was like a light that burned brightly for a short amount of time.
Yeah, I think it was like a light that burned bright in a room that was out in the country that had a small family that lived there. That's it. It wasn't in a big city. It
That's
wasn't.
you nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah,
You nailed it.
it was just it was important to this group of people, and that's
Yeah.
important. Just in the grand scheme of things, that group needed that. They got that, so that is important.
Yeah.
Whether some kid in New York or LA heard it doesn't even matter at this point. Um, I
So
think that Leatherface probably is one of the greater bands that doesn't get enough recognition. I don't know why I even said probably. They are definitely a band that is great, and I don't hear near enough people. But I will say this: their fans are ride or die because I guarantee you people will watch this video and talk about them in the comments.
yeah, for
How
sure.
many? I don't know, but the people love this fucking band. They would probably love this album. I'd be shocked if anybody said that this wasn't one of their top two. I would think. What other album do you think people think is really great? Is it Horsebox?
Probably Horsebox. I know people like Minx a lot. The one that came after this record, it
Okay.
was supposed to be Mush Part 2,
Okay.
but it ended up kind of being the little brother of Mush.
Okay.
It didn't have the same sonic quality. A lot was lost in the recording sessions. So there's some great songs on it. But it's not Mush. It's more of a subdued album than Mush is. Um, so take that for
I
what
want
it
to
is.
give a little credit to Leatherface for having impeccable tastes when it comes to songs to cover. They've covered
Message in a Bottle.
Message in a Bottle, and
Great cover.
they also covered that Bruce Springsteen and Cyndi Lauper song, True Colors, which might be one of my favorite top 5 covers of all time. would be True Colors. That song is amazing. And that cover is actually, that's the song that I heard that got me into Leatherface was their cover of True Colors, because I was like, yo, who's singing the Cyndi Lauper song? And then my friend it was in a van. Actually the van, shout out Jaron, if you see this, what's up, bro? Was my boy Jaron, who did Guilt Party. He was in Fight Pretty. He was in a lot of bands down here, dude. Jaron was the homie. He played bass in a lot of bands. I think he sang for Guilt Party. But he let me hear Leatherface for the first time, I think, and living in his house, doing all kinds of drugs, dude, partying and just fucking, dude. We used to have like house shows all the time, and dude, it was awesome, man. We had a lot of fun. But yeah, they do fantastic covers. It's getting late. We've been talking for a while. I jabbered a lot. This album is fantastic. What do you grade this album? Does this one get a 10 for you?
This is a perfect record, yeah. I can't give it any less than that.
I don't really give records 10s.
It's worthy of a 10 to me.
I think this one gets a 10 too for me as well. Like I do think that maybe Leatherface won't be in my top 5. They'll hit number 6 and kind of stay there. But I do think that this album can hang with And Out Come the Wolves. It can hang with Shock Troops. I genuinely think that it's got that kind of staying power. With me specifically, with whatever people think, I don't care. But with me, I think this could be in there with the Anchors Away, Shock Troops, Out Come the Wolves, MUSH. Like straight up, I think it's that good. Last Word Spoken. Yep, MUSH. Whatever your favorite album is by your favorite band, this one holds that kind of weight.
Well, real recognize real, but those that know, and that's the beauty of this kind of shit. It's that
Bo knows Leatherface.
Bo knows Bo Jackson, baby, best athlete of the fucking
bro. That dude played professional football and professional baseball at the same time, bro.
Remember everyone had the Bo Jackson posters in the room back in the day?
I love that shit. There's a guy that has one at the antique mall, and I look at it every weekend and almost buy it every week. It's like $25 for a big ass, like, I don't know. It's not 11 by 17. It's bigger than that. It's probably 15 by 22 or something like that. Maybe 16 by 20, something like that. But it's him with the shoulder pads and the baseball over his shoulders. It has the Nike thing, and then it just says Bo knows. And I
remember the Michael Jordan poster? It was like the wingspan one. It's just his arm.
Oh yeah,
it was like hella long. Anyway, whatever.
They also had that one that was the same height as him for real. They had one like that for Akeem Olajuwon too.
Oh shit!
That's my favorite basketball player of all time, Akeem.
He's on the Rockets, right?
Yeah. So here's a little story that people don't know about Michael Jordan. We beat them every series we played against them, right? We had a tougher time in the playoffs than they did, so we didn't make it to the finals as much as we could have or should have, whatever you want to call it, right? We were a great team. The Bulls were clearly a better team. They had their players. But I will say this. Michael Jordan has said in at least 2 interviews that I know of, boy, am I glad that we didn't meet the Rockets in the finals. We didn't have an answer for Hakeem. And if you ever watch a game that the Rockets played against the Jordan Bulls, watch what he does to those guys. It's kind of amazing. He embarrasses them, dude. It's wild. We whooped their ass, man. But shout out Michael Jordan. Shout out Hakeem Olajuwon. Shout out Larry Bird. That dude's badass too, or was.
Yeah, he was badass. Shout out to the white guys. And fucking Steve Nash. Come on.
I was just thinking, like, what players do I like a lot? I was like, Larry Bird, Hakeem. I don't really like Jordan as a person.
Yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit guy.
Well, he also doesn't like poor black people. That's weird. That's weird to me, man. Poor black people are awesome. What are you talking about?
Jordan apparently was not an awesome guy.
Dude, he had a fucking Hitler stash. What are we talking about? You remember that shit? He had that Hanes commercial where he had the little Hitler stash?
I do, man. The Hanes, the fucking the tidy whiteys and shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's late.
Stop it, bro. It's 11:45 for me. It's only 10 o'clock for you.
Dog, yeah. This is fucking...
Calm down.
I'm sitting down for a while.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. I don't have our picks for the next week or two picked out yet. I will text Nitty and let him know. Please let us know in the comments, what do you want us to talk about, man? Give us some suggestions. We're getting to the point to where I kind of want to just see what the viewers think. And
honestly, what do you want us to talk about? What 2 albums?
Yeah, give us. It may not be the next video, but I'll let people.
I'll listen to anything.
Maybe I'll start the video with this. I'll clip this out and put it at the front. What do you want us to talk about? Give us some suggestions so we can pick from it. If you're a Patreon member, just message me on Patreon and we will pick it, because Patreon members obviously get a little bit more priority because they're helping us in a way that is very important. So,
right.
Everybody else, thank you so much. No matter what you're doing, if you're here, it's important, man. I appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. All right. Peace.